Operating Officer for the Stafford Boxing Club Incorporated, our nonprofit organization, which is a yearly mentoring program for at-risk youth in the community.
So we will be able to teach financial literacy, communication, discipline, decision-making, as well as campaigning for a premium education.
These are the foundation for the Stafford Boxing Club. These 20 mentees in our program here at Panola Way Elementary School. 20 years from now, Stafford Boxing mentees will be known across the world.
Stafford Boxing.
The making of champions. Today is King Day 2023. The Stafford Boxing Club wanted to honor him. Boxer. So Dr. King, he fought for freedom, discrimination. Good Lord, girl. Fair housing, equality, discrimination, women rights. Ooh, another one. Ooh, another one. Ooh, another one. This one right here is for Coretta Scott King. Uh. Good Lord.
Let's go.
Hey, listen, man. To use our platform to show our appreciation that Dr. King did for us, man. Particularly Black Americans. Let me take that off for a babe. We got the drip on. Yeah, these per se. Yeah, they on sale. You want? Yeah, we had to get that out the way today. In our eyesight, Dr. King was a boxer. He he fought for liberty. He fought for fair housing. He fought for he fought for us to be able to unite with people other than white, Asian, Hispanics. He fought for so many things, and I believe that our community hasn't truly taken advantage of the sacrifices of Dr. killing each other. Yes, there is some improvement, but we need to do better. We wanted to dedicate this show to honor the late, great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. No cap, for real.
Honor. Before we get into, I want to go back to last week. I wanted that did contact me to make sure that I was okay. I want to say thank you. And also, what I was going through, for those who don't know, is I'm going through menopause. And I spoke to several ladies, and it's just a topic that's joking about. So some of the symptoms are going to be, which I found, anxiety, night sweats. We're going to have different types of mood, which is going to be off. And one of the young ladies that I spoke with, it was very interesting, is that it's just not talked about. So a lot of the young don't know anything about it. So if you are going through that, or if you know that somebody is supportive, and be patient with them. And I also want to answer a question that someone had asked, and we didn't get a chance to speak about it. Said that it's just not the Black community that we talk about what's going on in the Black community, and you are absolutely right. Why we talk about the Black community is because, number one, we're Black. We have to start holding people accountable so we can come together.
Us too. We want to make, so we don't want to make like it seem like we just after the black community. A lot of sacrifices has been made for us to be able to of our ancestors to be able to walk through a front door instead of a back door. Come to the table where back in the day you couldn't even come on the property. And more than just having a nice car, nice houses, a career, boils down to is a better community. And there are things in our see that we want to address on this platform. So we believe Boxing Club is our platform, our voice, to talk about not only boxing, but other things that helps our community become a better community.
I totally agree. I agree.
I got to do the same, man. Yes, sir. Hey, you know what? I was doing some research. He really was a boxer.
Mm-hmm.
He really was.
He fought real hard. And his family too.
He fought a good fight.
If you want to keep it
Yeah.
real.
He fought, and Dr. King and Muhammad Ali
yes.
were good buddies.
They were.
To support each other.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. King supported the Vietnam War. And Muhammad Ali supported Dr. King cotton that was going on in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And so boxing, professional sport that was used as a platform, like injustices in our community.
Correct.
For real. So when we James and Colin Kaepernick and all the other black athletes on their professional platform, and they talk about the disparities and the facing our community, it was because of the sport of boxing. And Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali set the platform. He made that trailblazer so that people like myself, Sheila, Stafford can come and talk on a podcast show about the sport of boxing, diverse and universal the sport is, and it's not only about getting in the road, punching someone. Boxing is an art, but also boxing is a platform that speaks about things that we may not agree with, and or use to be able to talk about things that we want to see get better.
Okay. What can be said after that? I have no idea.
Hey, we just, the sun's shining, the Lord is shining on us.
And it's not bad out
we
here
outside
today
because I remember back in the day when we used to celebrate. I'm talking about, I used to be picnics. Everybody used to be at the park, having a good time. And, there are people, 23 is trying to erase everything that Dr. King has done in this country. And so I don't want community to lose sight of the freedoms and the luxuries that we had. It wasn't that long ago that we couldn't, have you supposed to do this and you supposed to do that. It was a lot of people that have come before for us to have an opportunity to do the things that we do today. So we need to things, real talk.
And you know what? I'm glad that you brought that up because I was thinking, girl, we used to watch the story during that time.
Yes.
When we, the firefighters or the police used their hoses, dogs,
the billy clubs.
And I didn't have an understanding of it. So what is not just on Reverend Dr. Reverend Dr. MLK Jr. Day, but just every other day throughout the week and watch something, watch a clip, do some reading so we can be educated because that's youth.
Yeah, they don't
because
do
they're
this.
not being educated about our history.
Yes.
And I believe if they were being educated, whether at home, come to the library and get some books and go on YouTube, and Instagram, and all the other social media platforms, take a few, learn something about your history, and then that way you can see how great we have it. Because reading 50 Cent's book, he Africa,
Yes.
and how he asked the driver, he told his friend him a certain amount of money,
Yes.
and then they caught a cab. He said, "I want to go to the hood."
Yes.
And he went to the hood, and his mind was just huts
Yes.
were built.
Yes.
And then will smell like the
Sewer.
bathroom
Sewer.
because that's where they were using the bathroom.
Yes.
And our money. And then, I don't want to give too much about it, but he said that he had did it wrong. Mine was, and his heart was in the right place. So always know that he's going through something worse.
And today when I got up this morning, I can see.
Okay.
Today when I got up, I had read something and it was very disturbing. I think for me, why it touched because I played in college ball, basketball, and to see a young man throw away his life senseless, it's like it was unbelievable. I just couldn't believe that this young man life, and now you kill someone for a conversation. You on a basketball team. Is Darius something. Darius.
I don't know about that one. I didn't.
Yeah.
You told me about
Yeah.
it.
Because I told my wife, I said, man, this dude got charged with capital murder. Athlete at the University of Alabama. Saw King. And I'm like, Dr. King got beat.
And others too. So
in Alabama. They paved the way for this young University of Alabama, and now you get caught up, shoot conversation at a strip mall or something. Just something.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it was just a little argument or whatever. And like you was saying earlier, and you was talking about how don't read. Because if you've read, you will have an understanding like, hey man, listen to be up in here. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't need to be doing this. He done took someone live, him and another dude, at the age of 21. It's gone.
It's out of here.
So now he talking about, oh, I love her. Boy, stop.
His girlfriend ain't even gonna.
But she ain't gonna be there no more, bro.
She's not gonna
so,
be.
But
What?
see, that's the thing that I was talking about in reference to so many Black Americans that had come before us and laid down their life that I wanted to touch on because I used to hear people in the community said that Dr. King died as a broke man. So P Gang though, this man died wealthy. You know why? Because it inspired me and you an opportunity to be hosting a podcast. Come on now.
That is true. And also, I'm reading another book on impact. So being a impact leader, it's not about like the materialistic things or money. It's about in other people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So they are seeing your, and then they might not understand it right then and there, but all need, and once that seed is planted, then it's going to be watered throughout time, and then so he was an impact leader because we're still talking about him. We don't just talk about him on the 16th. And see, I think that's the thing with us. It's over there in here in my thing.
Go ahead.
We have conversation about our ancestors. Like next month is history,
but it should be.
But it should really be throughout the year.
Yeah.
Like you want to do it. So, hey.
So all these black athletes who's getting most contracts, who is able to live types of communities.
You have an obligation, even if
you
it's
have
not.
An obligation.
Even if it's or if it's not
your lifestyle.
Yes, your lifestyle, because you model to many, whether you like it or not. And also, someone does something for the community, whether it's a party, a school, anything. Clean. Now they've already did the money into it, and the building is up, but now it's up to the community. That area clean. Because a lot of times, like with Oprah Winfrey, I believe she was trying to
in the black community.
In the black community here in the United States, but there was always
vandalism.
And then there have been some parks that have been, but then it's vandalism, and then drugs, drug use being there. So when someone says not just the black community, we know, but we have to, because if we don't and we don't start making changes, we're not going to get change. Starts here. Change starts with me first, changing my walk. I hold myself accountable. My husband will hold me accountable, and I have to listen.
He hold me accountable.
That's correct, and I have to listen. Clear. Time, yes, I'm human. I am going to make mistakes, but there are certain not afford to make, because if I make certain mistakes, me, it's going to affect Stafford, and then it's going to affect everybody else. Just work on one thing and stop littering. When you litter, talked about this one time before. What I do is I'll keep 2 or 3 in the car, and I'll hide them. I'll tuck them in. When we have garbage in those bags, and guess what my husband does? He takes the goat and he walks to the garbage can, and what's next? Hide the garbage can. And I'm going to talk about that LA Fitness thing too. Do certain things. People are watching, and the youth are watching, so I think that's okay because you didn't get caught or nobody said anything. Brings me to when we were at the gym. It was a guy who goes to Georgia State University. My husband's going to be playing on.
Oh, the intramurals.
The basketball team. And he is the captain. My husband brought him to the gym. Now, he did not play good at first. some of the guys were, making, I got to stop saying, some of the guys were making, I felt some type of way. So I said, instead of marks, what you all need to do is you need to come together and you need to talk. I wish I would have taken a picture. It was
me,
you, OG guy,
Tip, and it was Chris, a basketball friend. Both of them played like overseas somewhere. So it was like OG, Tip, and those two professional basketball players. So we had told them like, hey man, you just can't come down the court and you just shoot the ball up 1 to 12. So you want to get too many shots and make them, we on the sideline. Then we got to talk to an agent. Hey man, so when I get on the basketball court, I'm always trying to win. All that trying to hot dog. I'm a winner. I'm trying to win so we can run off about 4 or 5 games in a row. Sheila is making is that the sacrifice that Dr. King made was for him to lift up our young black men, to encourage them, not to tear them down. King did. He stood for a purpose. He lifted our spirits. He left it will live long after I'm dead and gone. And that's the nation that Sheila and I hope to leave behind with the Stafford boxing movement. It's just not about boxing. It's just about economics, education, self-esteem, confidence, all these things of the Stafford boxing, including fashion. As you know, the drip always be player like. Sheila was talking about Sheila came from outside the gym, and she was like, "Wait a minute, down on this young man. Y'all need to talk to him." And once we all got him in a circle, start introducing him to this person, that person, the next game he ended up playing. Then on top of that, we played against each other one on one. Like my team, I was on the winning side, but the fact was that he played a lot better. I was like, but the fact that the guys, the black to this young man, he was able to play, and that's what the message that we wanted to display today is that Dr. King message, and that's what we need to do, not only on Dr. Martin Luther King, Reverend Dr. King Jr. Day, but every day. It should be a lifestyle. It's so many sacrifices made that I think that today in 2022, 23, excuse me, just being able to be on a certain part of the city, go there, and those are the things that Reverend King fought for. The civil rights people that may not be as famous as Dr. King. And so today we want to honor his legacy, but we want to continue his legacy. We want to continue through our lifestyle, how I treat my wife, how my wife treat me in our program, how we are good stewards with the resources that we get. Dr. King stood for character, integrity, purpose. And so it's very important because I think a lot of times we get so caught up in money, 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 money. But people doing any and everything for money, and once they did it illegally, they got to do something illegal again to get it back. And then when people don't talk about you no more, you had no type of investment in your sole purpose was for money. Yes, we need money. Money is very, you need it. It's a necessity. But Dr. King, like a billionaire or a millionaire, but for a man to for mankind, for equality, I don't really do that no more. Like folks not folks not willing to give their life for a person. It's not a lot of people with courage. It's all about selling people out. Our black leaders selling the black community out for their selfish gain, for financial, for, you know what I mean? And that's something that I'm not going to allow it to happen. And I know Dr. for standing up against our elected officials who do a job for the community, but yet you use that position to, and every time when it's time for re-election, then that's when these politicians want to you want to come to the churches and all the other type of platforms to get your support. But throughout your stay in office, we really don't see your work at all. And we for real. And I'm getting tired of that. And another thing is that Dr. King fought for education. It's very disappointing to me that I keep looking on the internet on all these social and group chats, and I see people sharing videos of kid character. Our kids, people that look like me and you.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of those people stuff,
cursing the teacher out
to get likes.
Just to get likes, bro. Girl has come to get likes. You know, if we don't get likes, then we're not validated. Have taken the back seat of social media. To be honest with you, it's tiring. To be honest with you. However, I'm just, that's not what Dr. King fought for people and go to school and be disruptive. You're fighting the kids. I mean, you're fighting one another. You curse, using disrespectful language, and not realizing that this is a system used to dictate how many prisons do we need. Now, prisons have become private.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of celebrities that have invested in the prison system because meaning like shoes, the shoes, the soap, the uniform, brushes, toothpaste. All these things are commodities make that generates a lot of money. Like people in prison, male, be it jail, federal prison, it don't matter. Necessities for daily usage. So it has become big business.
Sad. So to the celebrities and the non-celebrities, those that just here's multi-millionaires, billionaires, and etc., 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 your money, which I get it, into that type of stock. You put your money, donate your money to the Stafford Boxing Club mentoring programs and other foundations that's going to help the community, to help the kids, to, because that's not helping. Okay, so you're putting your money in the prisons, so now you're like, oh, education is not important because they're not going to know. How do you know that a lot of the people, it just had somebody to just open up that door or just to talk to them? No, you're not even giving anybody any type of opportunity because you're being selfish. There are some people that do want to have an education, and unfortunately, maybe because of meaning, they might be struggling with something or just, I mean, give it a chance. You're not even giving it a chance because it's just about money, and that's real sad.
Because at the end of the day,
you're not going to gain anything from that.
At the end of the day, with you, bro. I didn't see it. I didn't live long enough to see it. I didn't live. When people die, sometimes people might have money, but they don't have. Sometimes people die, they don't have life insurance.
I wouldn't even. We're not even doing those. It's just too much, with the estate tax, state tax and all that.
But what I'm also saying is
They
that
should have something in place.
yes,
I get it.
you know what I mean? There should be something in some things like that. I was listening to the girlfriend of PN. Yeah, she said that he didn't have and have a will. He had nothing in place. So now he may have one or two kids. If I'm so now we don't know if it's so now all the music that he done is owned by the record label. So now the record because they're gonna sell that music to the community and the community gonna support that. You know what? This was a rapper who this, that, and that. And I think macroeconomic supply and demand, like the supply to entertainers is high. The demand for it is low. Just like for doctors, there's a demand for lawyers, demand for teachers, and we need these politicians that are in office for better pay for our teachers, man. Other parts of the world, teachers are expected. They're looked upon as like, like the cream of the crop in the community. It's it's it has come to a point where no longer want to be teachers.
Right.
They go get a job at Walmart because Walmart, that right there don't make sense to me. I don't understand that. I ain't got nothing against Walmart because Walmart is, but our teachers are important to our community, and they things that needs to be taught so they can be informed about things later on in life. I just don't understand it personally. I just don't understand it, but just my view about things that I see in our, and since it's Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, I yes, let's celebrate his life, but yeah, we celebrate his life by talks that needs to be changed. He was a freedom fighter. He was a good fight. He was a person that got involved in good trouble. Rest in peace to John Lewis.
Oh yeah.
Like
I met him one time.
man, that's my guy. In front of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. SCLC headquarters in Atlanta, and it was iconic. I think that I was one of the few to take a picture at his statue at the. So I read his books, his lifestyle, and I remember one day I was at church and I saw his daughter, and I told her, I walked up to her and I said, Bernice, I'm not being vain.
And she started crying.
Started crying, bro. No, I'm really one of them ones that I read a lot. I'm informed about things of the past that has given me like I'm inspired by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., inspired by Dr. Charles R. Drew. That's just me, and my situation dealing with the blood plasma industry will work out to I can be someone that when I'm dead and gone, an inspiration to those coming behind me. And I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful. I'm a grateful man. I'm a very appreciative man.
His wife, Coretta Scott King,
Believe that, no cap.
she was a beautiful woman.
Beautiful
She
spirit.
was a classy woman. She was a spiritual woman, mentally, physically, spiritually. She was always able to hold her composure
Yes.
under any type of stress. Imagine getting phone calls and your life and your family's being threatened, whether if her husband was with them, and she held her composure and she stood by her husband, by principles. And
Principles. I like that word.
yeah, she
For real.
did.
That principles, boy. For real. For real.
So
Yes.
that's whom, and I'm not going to lie, that's whom I do think about her from time to time. There are certain qualities in her ways of how she
handling adversity.
yes is something that I need to learn one step at a time, one step at a time. Because let me just talk. Women, we are lost. I don't understand. We are so quick to listen to something that you cannot get anything from, which is pretty much written by men.
It's rap music.
is
Y'all
is
women.
is, is out of hand.
It's out of pocket.
The conversation is out of hand. Is out of hand.
Entitlement.
I know that we do go through things, and our emotions are different from male emotions, where we can at least talk to each other.
For real.
I
Without
used
calling B's and
look
H's.
to have a hard time with women. I did. I used to and be like, don't even say anything to me. But women who I thought were my friends, they scarred me. They hurt me. I'm healed now. Hurt me. So I was through with that. Now, since I'm God, I want to encourage, just stop it. And I understand all women have beautiful bodies. I'm happy for you. I'm not hating on you. But sometimes y'all get out of pocket where. And then you want to know why men treat you. Now, they don't have to treat you because we all have choices anywhere with that. And stop with the sexual. We become over sexual. So now that are supposed to be looking up to us, now they're learning those same traits. What they're going to do is just take that on with them, thinking that it's okay, and it's not. So many videos with mothers and aunts and grandmothers. I get it, trying to, and at the same time, you're teaching. It's not going anywhere. We have to stop it. Let's start encouraging, saying nice things. When I see women, sometimes I will say, really, really nice. And I just say something, and a lot of times they're like, oh, thank you so much. Don't even know. Once again, you don't know what anybody's going through. Be a selfish person, and I can make it be about me, and then I'll talk out and say, Sheila, you got to stop being so selfish. It's not about you. It's about others that you can have an impact on. So
I co-sign.
Shout out to Estella. Yeah, menopause can really be a trip.
Yeah, but you're doing pause, and I'm grateful that God chose me to be able to walk with you and to support.
I want to give it's like 4 or 5 names. I want to give a shout out because it's one person's name that I'm going to
finish what you was talking about our women and women. y'all are in a powerful position now. Never in the history of our nation women were heads of 500 Fortune 500 companies. This in charge of a lot of leadership positions. And I have to be careful how I word this because women can feel like I am being
Them or judging
and
them.
I'm not. I just know in order for things to work, them to work, you got to have a man.
Husband, really a husband,
And
but
I just
these
at
days
the
don't want
like
to get
that.
married.
Well, I just see like a lack of respect. It go both ways. I think like our black men don't show the respect level that we should, and our black women don't show the respect towards black men the way they ought to. While we doing all this, how do you see our future? Like, if we keep up this type of behavior, what type are we going to have 20 years from now? Because what I'm is scary. It's scary. It's no, it's no, and our black leaders need to be held accountable because Martin Luther King Jr. and other civil rights icons have paved the way that you got this job because of your education. Nah, that may be, but it was a price that was paid for you to have that opportunity. Don't think that when you go off to these HBCUs or private schools that once you get this education that invest back into the community where you came from. You can to another community, but a reality moment will hit you. Let where your rightful place is, and don't step on the toes of them. And then when there comes a time where you may need these folks, where were you? The nose up. And I heard somebody they talked about like, hey man, when you move differently, and that's true. You got to move differently. You can't hang to because it's people in the hood. They hungry. They hungry, and they will hurt you for a watch, a chain. It don't matter. You just got to move differently. And so I just believe that it's Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day that we think about his. And if we can grasp those principles, I think that we do direction because the direction that we going in is our elders are scared
It's
to talk.
unhealthy.
Yeah, our
Yeah,
elders are
they are.
scared to talk to you. And there was a
Very
time
disrespectful.
where back in the day when I was coming up, hey, say, cuz, let me holler at you.
It's not like that anymore.
Nah,
Away,
we stay away.
and they keep their head down. I
However,
see a lot of times they
yeah,
have their head
yeah,
down.
or else they be like,
Yeah,
involved with it. And my wife would tell you, I have talked to some. I also believe it's your approach to talking to people. Sometimes it's best to not say nothing, not to say something when I know what I know. But at the same time, these young want to be respected. So I will approach them. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma'am. I ain't trying to disrespect you, but I just want to ask you a question. Why are you doing this way? That's the way that I think that you need to be approached. And if have the spirit of God in us, which is the Holy Spirit, we should be able to not fear and talking to us. If we quote unquote say we are Christians, Christians or believers, or we cannot afford not to say something to our youth.
Mhm.
If we do that, who invested in us down because we didn't say nothing.
Facts.
Yes, a situation where you shouldn't say anything.
Mhm.
Call the police, but just and not do anything. I don't like that. I think
It's
that's
always
coward.
mentioned on
That's
video.
that's a coward act, and we got to stop putting these memories situations on video. You can't do nothing these days being in someone video camera.
Yeah.
So let's say, for instance, you may do some community, but your car may pass a house or a business that went in that direction, and they just tap in. Oh, let me see that. Let me see that. So you're gonna get caught, bro. Too much opportunity to be made to have at this juncture, like Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and others who have sacrificed their life, man. I don't want to, go on and on and on. We can talk about this more in another episode. Today, man, I just want to say thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, for your life, the inspiration that you have left behind to a person like me. You know what I mean? And I've been in group homes, foster homes. I've been there, done that. But what saved my life was reading books and using uh, black men that I was able to read about to inspire me. Like, if you trust God, if you do it the right way, eventually, if you have a pure heart and you lift up people, your legacy will live on through your life, through your legacy, your teaching, which I've because I told a friend of mine years ago, I said, man, I'm gonna be her MLK, and that's real talk. And my wife plays a lot of characteristics of Coretta Scott King, and something that I wanted to find in a woman was characteristics of I, I admire. God, God bless her. So I met Coretta Scott King, a member of the Atlanta branch of the National Youth Connection, Reverend Markel Hutch, CEO, and he is very close with the King family and Hilton Hotel. And I had an opportunity to meet her. I shook her hand. It was it just that's why I'm doing my hand like this here, because I just remember when I had shook her hand, like the strength of an oak tree. It was like that, and it's such an honor to meet you. Like you know what I mean. And then I used to see her when Bernice King was an elder at New Birth. I used to see her come to service, Elder Bernice King, and so I would say that I had an honor to meet some great people. I wish I would have had an opportunity to meet Reverend Doctor, but I get to read about him, and I hope that everyone celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. Day will be inspired by this man's life and will just freedom and the opportunities that you have. It comes with a great cost, and so we MLK for real, and we're gonna continue to keep this marathon going on. We're gonna do what gonna drop the ball. We're gonna stand tall, be faithful to the end. Okay?
No, I think everything has already been said.
We appreciate your time. We appreciate you supporting the Stafford boxing movement. It's a movement. You got a husband and wife come together as one, impacting our community. Believe that Stafford boxing
Hey.